You don't know how it feels to be me. My friend caught me fist bumping my dad one day and asked what it was all about. He said, it's just another way of saying, I'm proud of you. You're important to me. I love you. I wish I had that with my dad, he replied. We as men feel awkward telling our male counterparts how we feel. Sometimes that we're proud of them, or maybe that we even love them or miss them. We don't start off that way, but somehow we are taught to man up, shove our feelings down so deeply, and mold them into some form of discomfort. That is probably why I felt the way I did when I was 14. I walked into the house after school and my dad was home. He was usually at work, I thought in my head. My dad sat on the couch, my little sister beside him, and asked for our attention. At this point I knew something was up. Kids, your grandfather got up for work this morning. He was getting ready. He had a heart attack, and he didn't make it. My little sister immediately started sobbing. My dad grabbed her and held her and started sobbing as well, crying his heart out, matching the volume of my little sister's cries, totally erasing the memory of what my brother's reaction was. I didn't know what I felt. I'd never seen anything like this from my dad before. He had to leave his family in British Columbia for a more stable life for us in Ontario. Not exactly a culture change, but far enough that it made visits with relatives few and far between. Sarcasm runs deep through our family tree, like sap in springtime. It might be because we weren't exactly comfortable expressing feelings, but one time I said to him, Hey Dad, we're going to Canada's Wonderland tomorrow, right? He replied, We? What do you mean, we? You got worms or something? He's not a macho tough guy, but still a tough guy. He took a baseball right in the eye, off the bat while pitching. It shattered his glasses, and he was hospitalized, but you wouldn't even know he was in pain. He'd pick up the front end of the family tent trailer and push it into the garage, uphill, by himself, not showing any weakness or asking for help. Sometimes you'd catch him in the middle of a thought, in silence, and ask, Hey Dad, what do you think about? Just stuff, he would say. Between the do-it-myself attitude, silent thoughts, sarcasm, and tolerance for pain, you were never quite sure how he felt. Maybe that's why seeing him cry was too much for me to handle. I darted upstairs to my room. I didn't cry. I figured I got that out the last time I said goodbye to my grandfather. I thought back, and it was literally the last time I said goodbye to him. I love you, Grandpa. I'm going to miss you, as I buried my sobbing 9-year-old face into my grandfather's midsection at Pearson Airport. He stood there, awkwardly tapping me on the back, his failed attempt to comfort me. My dad just laughed, not at me, but at his own father's lack of comfort with the emotion that his grandson was showing in public. My dad held me by the shoulders and watched as I watched the stone-faced man of very few words fade and disappear in the crowd, and ultimately out of my life forever. Would my grandpa have taken a little more time if he realized that that would be my final memory of him? Plans were arranged for my dad to fly to BC that night. My dad had to go alone because it was affordable. As we drove to Pearson Airport, my heart was heavy. I didn't cry. I refused and showed little emotion as I said goodbye to my dad from the car. He got his bags out of the trunk and placed them on the curb. I felt sadness that my dad had to make the trip all alone. I love him. I miss him. Well, he was gone, but he couldn't get the words out of my mouth. I watched my mom kiss him goodbye. My dad waved and faded out of focus, while Tom Petty on the radio sang, You don't know how it feels to be me. Was this the last time I'd see my dad alive? I get an unavoidable feeling at that airport. Why as men do we find embarrassment and shame in showing fear, pain, and sadness? Is it all learned and shaped by a mold from the men before us? I was lucky. My dad made it back. That's why the fist bump was reinvented as an acceptable way to say, Hey, I'm proud of you. You're important to me. I love you. Be careful. We've since included my brother-in-law, who has 3 rough and tumble boys with my sister, who never get to leave without a hug or a fist bump from their Uncle Martin. It feels surprisingly good to break the mold and tell them how I feel, and letting them know how it's okay for them as well to show how they feel. Are you secretly craving to know how someone feels? Why don't you try telling them how you feel first? It might be tough, but you might like how it feels to let somebody know how it feels to be you.